Governor Romney, it was great to hear from you from the Gateway Mall. Today, I was a little bit disappointed that you were not taking any questions, but I guess your team will have a chance to watch this video, and of course many others. But I remember very vividly the tension that was in Utah and perhaps in other places all over the US after the 9/11 attacks. And I remember very vividly as well how the Olympics team was able to amplify security efforts in Utah so that Utah would be home again for those who were here to participate in the Olympic Games. Tonight, I would like to see if I can coerce your security team to amplify efforts to protect women of sexual violence in the state of Utah. I would like to explain this with a particular incident that happened where a woman was sexually violated by a businessman in Utah. He operates his business between 60th South and 70th South on State Street, and the case was reported to the Holiday Police, but the police said they were not going to consider it as urgent because the woman had not reported immediately when the incident occurred. The case was then transferred to Salt Lake Unified Police, where the woman was working with Detective Panders. I was a witness of the meeting with the woman and Detective Panders, and so I have first-hand experience here of what I'm reporting in this video. Detective Panders told the woman that the DA would not prosecute the case for several reasons, but I will highlight a few, and I must warn the viewers at this point that there is some adult and perhaps sexually explicit material here, so I will pause for a little bit so that you have time to make a choice whether you want to stay and listen or whether you want to go away. Detective Panders said the DA's office was most likely not going to prosecute the case because the woman had not reported the incident immediately. He also said one of the reasons was that he said there had not been a witness in this case of sexual violence. The woman in this meeting was alleging that she had been raped by the businessman in the location that I just described. Another reason that Detective Panders cited was that the woman had gone to the man's home willingly. He also said there had not been a witness of that incident. Detective Panders also said it would be hard to convince the jury that a man forced his penis in the woman's mouth. I would like to stop there. My request to you, Governor Romney, in ramping up security measures to help women who have been sexually violated, is that in this situation that happens in Detective Panders' office, I witnessed the woman having to defend herself. It was like the woman was before a one-man jury, where Detective Panders was the jury. Would you ramp up security efforts so that in the future, when meetings like this happen, there is somebody, at least from maybe the psychology department, who understands the not the sexuality, but the psychology behind sexual violence? Would you ramp up security efforts so that in the future a meeting like that happens with perhaps a platform that allows the woman, and perhaps a man, I guess it could be a man involved in the case as well, for them to present the case, to report the case, and not present a situation where the reporter is actually being tried and having to justify what happened or what did not happen. Would you ramp up efforts to protect women so that they are not re-victimized by law enforcement? You put a great smile on the entire state of Utah by ramping up security efforts for the Olympic Games, and I have no doubt that you can do precisely the same and more for women victims and survivors sexually assaulted by businessmen in Utah and elsewhere. Thank you very much for following up on this. I will later on put together a blog with a bit more details, as well as case numbers and other specific material that will help you follow up on the matter. I'm grateful that you're able to respond.